Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 360 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing TKOG. Today I'm going to be showcasing you guys my Ancient Warrior deck profile. How I feel about this deck, I think it's a very good deck. It's very fun too, and that's the main reason why I play it, is just because it's fun. I love the lore behind it, the artwork's amazing. Cards are actually kind of insane. There's the surprise factor, and there's also your ability to put up literally 5 interruptions without using your extra deck. Like, when I tell you, like, this deck literally, it's just insane. Like, I was showing one of my friends that I was playtesting with too. I was like, it didn't even matter if you scythe blocked me. I put up like Dan Ying, Sun Mu, Juke, Spell Trap Negate guy. So I had like Admiral Zhao and Zhukong. So I had Monster Effect Negation. I had 2 bounces off Double Dragon, not Double Dragon Noise, my bad. I had a bounce and a pop. I had a DD Crow, and then I had like a effect Veiler pseudo off of Admiral Zhao, and a crazy follow up. This deck's just really good. Like, there's a lot of things you can do without utilizing your extra deck, and the deck actually has a crap ton of utility, a lot of kind of secret effects that most people would overlook because they kind of just look at the basis of what the cards do up front and the value that they give you. So people were even ashing Sun Mu, and then I was triggering Sun Mu to bounce one of their monsters, and they're like, oh snap. So you literally just traded a Sun Mu plus another interruption. I mean, an Ash plus another interruption on Sun Mu. They're kind of like 6 Sams. Like, they're really, they swarm the field a lot, and they give themselves, some of them get protection off of having other ones on field, and they give protections to your other ones too, which is really crazy. The inboards are nuts. Like, you can go for Toad Dweller with double Dragon Lord, Spell Trap Negate. You can just go for the full commit to Zhukong with Virtuous, have Spell Trap and Monster Negation plus a couple bounces. You can just go for full spot removal boards where you just go double bounce plus pop and the DD Crow. I mean, the level of utility that this deck has in the terms of what interruptions it can put up, it just covers so much ground for all of your different matchups. Like, you pretty much have an inboard for every single deck. You even have like a Baguska pass if you're playing against like Despia, and you just want to make a simple board that doesn't really commit as many resources so you can keep more follow-up. You can do that stuff. It's just really crazy. I like this deck. It has a lot of potential, and I enjoy myself when I play it. So I'm going to get into the profile. Sorry for all the rambling, but that is just really like, it's how I feel. This deck's amazing. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Consider clicking that notification bell if you already are subbed. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a dislike if you didn't. And make sure that you check out my Discord and definitely become a Patreon member, because that mentorship and that coaching is definitely worth it if you're coming to the game or just trying to get better in general. I got you guys. So let's get into the list, and then I'll talk more about it. So for starters, 3 copies of Sun Mu. I'm going to put my starters up first, and we'll talk about it. So Deception is both an extender and a starter, so it's a very unique card that it's multi-purpose, and this is a big deal. I'm going to talk more about this card, but this card's a very big deal for a lot of reasons. One of my favorite cards. Freaking love this card. 3 visits. Absolutely cracked, you guys. They had to put that second standby thing. Double Tinky, thank God. Thank God. We just need one more. Double Dan Ying. Double Admiral Zhao, if you guys have seen Avatar The Last Airbender. And then 1 Virtuous. He's only really a starter if you go second, but even though this isn't a blind going second list, it's always nice to have one in your deck, because it gives Tinky more utility when you're going second, or when your board gets cracked and you're using your follow-up to play. This is a great card to have as part of your follow-up. It's really good. So now we're at this point in the profile, we'll talk about it. Sun Mu is incredible, you guys. Sun Mu can literally get you an extender to get you into double Dragon Lords while triggering his effect at the same time. I think I've mentioned this before in one of my latter profiles for Ancient Warriors, but I ended up outing Enpin and Barrier Statue off of just Sun Mu. Sun Mu added Zhukong, triggered his effect to summon himself, separate chain Sun Mu, bounce Enpin, attack over Barrier Statue. It was just crazy. Like, it was absolutely insane. Like, I was like, even if he didn't stop me from killing the Barrier Statue, like if he did, the fact that Sun Mu just literally just bounced the Impin and he's a normal summon, it's just ridiculous. Like, this card's so good. He's literally like he's the strongest normal summon in this deck. He's so powerful, like for so many different reasons. And ending on him is not bad because he's an interruption. He's also one of the ways you can make the Bahamut Shark Toad lines. Granted, I sold all my Totally Awesomes because they're kind of pricey because of the Splight hype, you know. So I was like, let me get some extra money for my car. But yeah, this card's amazing. Deception. This card's good for a multitude of reasons because your normal summon typically is a choke point. There's a point in time when I was playing Tinsus because it's that big of a deal. Now you have high level extenders, but the problem is also your high level extenders that just freely summon themselves, or like where you don't need to control more than one Ancient Warrior. They're not really wins, so you can't do a lot with them. So this card just changes that. It's both an extender, but also its starter because it literally can turn any of your guys into a wind, which is just one of the requirements to make double Dragon Lords. So this card's crazy. Like, it lets you play through so many interruptions. I have a video that I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to upload it, where I broke through the DD board where they had Baron the Floor. They had the rank 6 that's like a solemn warning on legs. They had the Headhunt trap. And they had the DD guy, the XYZ that puts my monsters as a material. I broke through that whole board with nothing but Ancient Warrior cards. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And one of the MVPs was not only Betrayal, but I do remember that I resolved, what's it called? East by South Wind's effect to send itself. Because I flipped Tails and I finally got lucky and sent it. And it was just like over from there. But yeah, that just reminded me of that because I was like, dang, I ended up using this card because I didn't use it until I resolved East by South Winds because I knew he could just use his little rank 6 and negate it. But yeah, card's absolutely insane. It really fixes a lot of problems with this deck, and it enables more explosive turn 1 plays just having this because you can search this out and just use it to keep pushing. Granted, I tried my best not to play into Nib because you really don't need to. You can actually just you can really consolidate more resources that way too. Because you give yourself a lot more better follow-up, but also not playing into Nib, you can still typically end on 3 minimum interruptions. 3 minimum. This deck always puts up interruptions, and going second, it's always able to break boards. So the value of the Ancient Warrior cards, I think they just give you so much consistent just pressure going first and going second to just have versatile cards that can both break boards and make boards at the same time. Like, they can do both. All of your cards can do that. The issue that I've been having is like consistency, just not seeing my good starters or drawing hands where I just lose to one hand trap. And that's where I think I need to go back to the drawing board and just figure something out that's going to work better. 3 visits is just insane, you guys. This card's so incredible. If I open this plus Sun Mu, it's just over, bro. Like, that's one of your Toad lines. That's where you can go to the Bahamut Shark Toad. But this card, it just allows you to play through hand traps like crazy. Because if your opponent had like an Ash and a Veiler, that would probably be the only way they could stop both of these. But then if you have the extender, it just becomes that much better. But this allows you to play through minimum at least 1 hand trap consistently. It allows you to chain block your Dan Ying. It's just incredible, you guys. This card is so good. And leaving it on the field after you've utilized it on your turn 1 search, I ended up doing that to a hero guy I was playing. Because I was playtesting against all these different decks. I left this up because I had Admiral Zhao in hand. And I ended up not double Dragon Lords. I used Zook to negate the activation of his polymerization, sent this, effect summon him, and I just put the effect Veiler on field. It was just crazy. Yeah, I love this deck. It's so good. Tinky's Tinky. This guy is really, really strong. He searches your high levels and your continuous spells and traps, but also DD Crow draw 1 every turn. Just nuts, you guys. Absolutely insane. And that paying 400 to activate effects is crazy. It's gnarly. Because it gets to a point where your opponent's going to either be forced to go into battle phase or they're just going to have to make awkward plays just to out this because it gets really, really taxing. Double Admiral Zhao, I normally play 1, but I decided to play 2 because the second one does come up a lot for follow-up. There's literally times where I'm like, bro, like, I can break this board right now if I had a second one. Like, he's really, really powerful. And then, we know, Virtuous is really, really good, you guys. This guy's Tour Guide and Upstart Goblin in 1. That's the best way to describe him. Card's insane. So those are all my starters. I'm actually playing 3 copies of Ingenious now. I was normally playing 2, which the only reason why I was playing 2 is just so I can draw him less, but I actually like drawing him now with the new spell. It really, really helps you out a lot. And it means I don't have to play Emerald anymore, because this card was just so valuable to me. Like, I needed to resolve it at least twice. That's why I was like, it would really suck when I would draw it and I could only resolve it once. But I ended up resolving it 3 times in one of the duels I was having when I was playtesting earlier today. This card's phenomenal. He negates spells, traps, and monster effects, and he's an extender, and he's a win, and he's a level 4. It's just too much good value off of him. Sun Mu is a 1-card rank 4 minimum just because of him. One line that can come up because of him, which is really cool. I don't do it that often, but since I started playing the Hulk Celine package, you can Sun Mu into him and then go Dugaris. Dugaris, bring back your tuner, and then go Needle Fiber, Summon Veiler, Celine, Access Code, boom. So it's just like, this card's just too much value. That's why I like playing 3. And then I'm playing 3 copies of Lubu. Lubu's cracked. He's one of the he's so good that there was a point in time where I just didn't want to play hand traps because I just felt like a non-targeting pop was just way better than just like 2 hand traps at a time. Like, this was better than like double Veiler, but I felt like the hand traps are just too valuable now because they can be both going first and going second card. So it doesn't matter if I win or lose a dice roll or who goes first, who goes second, what they make me do. I'll always have interruptions. So I use him as an extender more often than not than I use him for his effect. But in those Ancient Warrior heavier hands, you know, if you have multiple hand traps, you won't use him. But if you have one and it's not high impact, you'll just use his effect because he's better than an ogre. And then we have 1 copy of Yang Jing or Zhang Yang. This card is actually really, really crazy. It came up today against Sword Soul because he didn't read him, so he tried to kill my my Sun Mu, and the Sun Mu couldn't be destroyed by battle. So it was like, yo, thank you so much, bro. You saved my life. And his effect to pop is crazy because you can end on him with your turn 1. So you can get Lubu to pop and then get his effect to pop. It's just crazy. Like, you can clear your opponent's whole field on their turn. Like, it can go a chain reaction too. Like, Lubu can start it. You just go Lubu, pop your highest attack, and then effect, pop, Sun Mu, bounce, Juke, negate, DD Crow, draw. It's just, it's crazy. There's a point where you can hold all your interruptions for just a chain reaction. You can just be like, play. Let your opponent commit to all these plays, and the moment they put up something that threatens you, you can just double Dragon Lords, force the negate, and then after you force the negate, you can just do that chain reaction anytime you want. Lubu, Juke, Sun Mu, Zhang, Don Ying. It's so good. I'm only playing 1 Valiant right now. He's okay. Like, his effect does come up, but most of the time, I use him as a wind extender that's not a level 4, so I can still go Ingenious after my double Dragon Lords to set up spell trap negates. Because post-sighting, when I put in my anti-spells and my skill drains, I just want to pretty much protect them from back row removal. So if I flip skill drain and they chain like Cosmic, or if I flip anti-spell and they chain like Cosmic, you know, I need that Zhukong, the Ingenious, to be able to negate that. So that's why I don't like using him to make double Dragon Lords unless my hand says that I have to. But if I can afford it, I'd rather use him at certain sequences. You know, you just need him for an extender that's a wind. That's not him, so you can make him last, so that way you can end on him and not have to use him. So that's one of the main reasons. And yeah, speaking of skill drain, this deck plays skill drain extremely well because you have a lot of effects that can pay cost by either sending a continuous spell or trap or a card from your hand or field. So you can either pay cost with their selves, and they will resolve because they're no longer on the field, so skill drain doesn't apply to them. Or if you need skill drain to be turned off, you can actually use Sun Mu, Virtuous, Zhukong, double Dragon Lords, even Ingenious to negate something. You can literally, like, your opponent can go Lightning Storm, and while you have skill drain up, and they're like, yep, I'm about to out your floodgate and everything. You can actually chain, I'm sorry, that it wouldn't work that way, my bad. But the whole point of it is just being able to pay costs with your skill drain or pay costs with the card you want to resolve. Just makes it to, like, you're playing skill drain with, like, prank kids at that point, because all your guys can just remove themselves from field with cost, just playing around the skill drain. And you have huge beat sticks, like, you have huge monsters, so you can literally just play beat down. And whenever you want to start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And activate effects again, you'll just literally go Sun Mu, send skill drain for cost, and then he will resolve because skill drain's not on the field. So it's like how Dracos and Eldritch play floodgates. You can always out them. Going second cards now. We have 3 talents, 3 nib, 3 ash talents. A lot of the times I was drawing 2 because, you know, I don't have any pots, so I just needed that plus. Especially if I had like a weekend where like Sun Mu has to resolve and they ash it. I'm like, dang, bro. talents, and then you literally just draw like Lubu 3 visits, and it's like, wow, bro, I'm just so good. And then we have a double ogre, double veiler, triple imperm. So we have 3, 6, 9, 15. I'm sorry, it was 15 going second cards. Really 16 because people are trying to side block you, and that's where Call by puts in work. Ogre's kind of clutch too because it does trigger Dan Ying. Ash and Nib I consider to be high impact this format. Ash like might seem like low impact to other people, but I feel I value Ash as like just one of the most powerful hand traps and interruptions that you can have. Like your boards are already so good, and just having Ash, like especially against Despia, now you can just Ash their branded fusion, and then you have Zhu Kong to negate their branded in red, and it's a wrap. So yeah. Talents be crazy, you guys. Like, this card's cracked. The Dino Morphia Despia guy that I played against and I was testing, he did his whole combo. Even though I had a backup plan if I didn't have talents, I knew I was going to just end up summoning Baguska and just wall up. Because I was like, I should have, I knew what I was playing against too. I honestly should have summoned Tiger King on my first turn and searched Yoko, which we're going to talk about this in a second. But I didn't, but I ended up just talents and taking it, and it was just a wrap anyways. Speaking of more going second cards, these are all kind of engine cards, but they still count as going second cards. You can declare any attribute with this card, and monsters on your opponent's field that have that attribute, it calamities. They just can't. So worst case, this forces a negate. Best case, if your opponent has like Appaloosa, Jacko King, kind of just monster negates, cards that don't interact with spells and traps, but they interact with monsters, like stuff like Chijiao. You activate this card, you literally, they just can't even, their effects are gone. Like, this card's actually cracked, and the attack boost is insane. Because you can literally give all your guys 1,500, which is ridiculous, because double Dragon Lords gives them a boost, so all you guys are getting 2,000. Like, you literally have, like, a 4,800 attack Lubu, which is insane. East by South wins. It's at 1 right now, but I definitely have been thinking about playing 2 to 3 again, but it's just, I wanted to change the build and play a lot more hand traps, so I took out a lot of, like, the hard going second cards, but high key, there's times where I just miss the hands where I would open East, and I would just be able to send it, and then I could just pretty much just combo off on my first turn for free, like I have a miscellaneous Saurus. So it's just, it's such a good card. The only reason why I'm playing 1 is literally just to make space for hand traps. That's it. Because I'm trying to use the hand traps to kind of prevent the board from happening or simplify it, versus just using a bunch of board breaking cards and just letting my opponent play solitaire. So that's the only difference between how I'm playing Ancient Warriors now versus how I did before. I was only breaking boards, and I was just allowing them to happen. But now I want to prevent them from happening or simplify them, and then I can just build momentum. Yoko is my out to Mystic Mine. If you guys notice, I don't play any Mystic Mine outs because this is an engine searchable Mystic Mine out. That means that if I'm playing against a Mystic Mine deck on my first turn, I can go Tiger King to set this, and I have it. The other thing is if I play against a deck like the Dino Morphia deck, or I'm playing against a deck where I just like feel like I just know that they're going to break my board and put up a floodgate, I can just have this ready, you know, at any time. So it's just a really, really clutch utility card, and your engine can search it because you can make Tiger King with like every hand. So it's just really, really good. And the utility of it being both a Mystic Mine out and just the out to problematic boss monsters, floodgates, Appaloosa, you name it, it's really, really good. Sometimes I wish I had a second. It's just that good. Extra deck, double Dragon Lords. This card is just, it's cracked. Not only is it just what it is, you know, just being able to search your engine, giving you attack boost, being able to be an interruption every single turn, but this card on your opponent's turn, it's just insane. Like, if they're like Chi-Shaoing your cards, or they're like imperming or chalicing your cards, you can literally just chain his effect to just dodge the target and bounce one of their cards. So like when you're interacting on their turn with your board, it's just, this card's just so insane. He literally dodges Veiler and Imperm. Like when you're playing into boards going second, you can just summon him, and if they Veiler him, you just chain his effect, send him for cost. It resolves. If he's up on the field and you have like a Sun Mu and you're activating Sun Mu and you didn't send his self for cost, and your opponent imperms or Veilers the Sun Mu, chain him, send it for cost, bounce a card. You have Skill Drain up, summon double Dragon Lord to declare effect, chain him, send himself for cost, effect resolved. You have Skill Drain up, this card's up, you summon Sun Mu, activate Sun Mu's effect, pay cost, sending Tinky. Do you have a response? No, Skill Drain's up? Okay. Chain double Dragon Lords. Either send Sun Mu for cost or send the Skill Drain for cost if you know you have game. It's just, there's so many cool interactions with this card. The paying cost and just it being a quick effect, it's just insane. It's one of the best interruptions like ever. Phoenix for utility, the Hulk Celine, access code. I figured I'm playing tuner hand traps, so there's no reason to not play some extra deck because the extra deck is very, very free. The only thing you really, really need, in my opinion, in Ancient Warriors, these are the only cards that I feel that you need, like in your extra deck. Like these are the cards that I would just never play without. You need a win condition in time that's not Dong Ying. And just being able to make Zeus. I feel like these are the cards that only cards that truly, truly matter. Like cards that I would never not play, basically. So this is all like utility, like the Phoenix, the Unicorn utility. You know, the Sling package. It's nice. It's a nice to have more than it is a need to have, because you can OTK consistently without even summoning from your extra deck, and I mean consistently. Like you can just OTK out of nowhere off of just you had a 3 visits up and you summon Sun Mu. Game's over. Tornado, you know, Tornado Dugars. Dugars has a lot of utility. Especially like those Hulk lines. Like I didn't see it at first, but I was like, oh snap! I have a tuner engraved. I'm tripping. I forget about this guy. Like he reborns. Like he's kind of cracked. Like this card's really, really insane. Like you go Alliance, all your guys gain 1500. Double Dragon Lords, all you guys gain 500. You know, you have a Lubu at 48. Dugaris effect. Lubu goes from 48 to freaking 96. Kind of insane. You go, if you're playing Borrowing, you can give it even more attack. Like, you can literally out the towers in the, what's it called? Like, this deck can get its monsters so huge, you can out the towers in the freaking, Igniser matchup. Like, you don't even have to play the Goddess card to out it. Like, you can literally summon a guy that it's like 11,000 attack. I'm not even capping. Because you have Borrowing, which can have a monster and give you the other half. You have this that can double it. And you can literally just bait their little negate guy just by going straight into the code, too, if you already have this line. Because there's hands in Ancient Warriors where you literally can, like... Bro, like, this deck gets really explosive. Like, bro, I'm not even capping. Like, it'd be feeling like, I'm like, dude, I might as well just extra link this guy. Like, the amount of extenders I have right now is just insane. So yeah, these are all just mandatory. Dweller Baguska just covers so much ground. I seldom make Tornado, but if I'm playing against Control, I think one of the best boards you can end on is definitely going to be the Zhukong Double Dragon Lord Tornado. I think that's good enough. You get a pop, you get a Spell Trap Negate, and you just have Double Dragon Lords up, so if they try and flip a Floodgate on your turn, you can just immediately chain his effect to bounce it. So, card's just cracked, you guys. Card's so insane! And that's the deck profile, you guys. That is the entirety. That's the list that I have right now. Granted, I'm not done with it. My decks are always evolving and changing, but this is where I'm at right now, and I really like it. I'm very content with it. It performs extremely well. Like I said, I was breaking some crazy boards. Like, I broke through, like, Sword Soul broke my board and put up insane pressure, and then he had Ash, Blackout, Chi-Shao, Baron de Fleur, and I broke that board, and I OTK'd the same turn. It was just... And it was all Ancient Warrior cards. The DDD board that I broke, all Ancient Warrior cards. The Despia board. Despia board's not crazy, but it's just... And also, one of the things that really helped against the Despias was... I already had one of my... I think I had the Deception. I had 3 visits and Deception, matter of fact. And I ended up resolving Effect to search him. He didn't respond, but he also didn't even know what this card does, because he hadn't seen it yet. Then I summoned him, and I just started breaking his board. Then he flipped Dino Morphia Domain, or the one that... I think it's called Frenzy. It's the one that sends a fusion from extra deck and then one from deck. And I just changed his effect to negate, and that was it. Like, I was putting this up to play around Brandon in red, but he had that instead, and that was it. Because the only other thing I could think of, I was like, dang, I need a freaking... Every time they do that, I'm like, I might as well just summon Baguska then, because I don't know what else to do. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't want your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. Y'all have a beautiful day and be safe, all right?